Please remain calm. You may notice a slight change in the environment. Fear not.
Doom Eternal. What to say about Doom Eternal indeed? Well, if you like Doom 2016, you'll probably like this game. If you like launching yourself beyond Mach 2 directly at the enemies as basically a human cannonball, hopefully destroying them before they can destroy you, you're gonna love this game. Look, the game's good. You get my points. Pretty much anybody you find online will tell you the game's good and explain in many steps why the game's good, and they're all pretty much right, if I'm going to be honest. Instead of that, today I was just going to do a little gameplay, like play it, talk about it while I'm playing it. I ran into a single little tiny itty bitty problem though. I can't talk while playing this game. It's just too... Yeah, that's basically flinging yourself around with all the new movement abilities. When it comes to the dash, you still have the double jump, and actually the speed you're moving, I'm pretty sure is actually faster. And then you're able to do what I do, which is you're able to equip a rune, which makes it so after glory kills, you basically just go Mach 7. It's just too fast. There's so much verticality because the levels are designed absolutely amazingly. All the new enemy types mean that you have to constantly be checking what you're fighting and adjust your playstyle to actually match with what you're fighting. And taking care of all of this over the course of about, I'd say probably 3-second intervals spread out into about, give or take, 5 minutes of action at a time. I couldn't do it. I tried to record and I just died. Over and over again. So for this video, instead of doing kind of the regular, play a game and chat about it, I have to record all my audio and post, which means we have a unique situation here, which is I get to tell you why I like the game so much. Or specifically what I want to do is I want to take a single level that is just awesome and I just want to show it to you. So, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, I highly recommend that in one hand you hold your beverage of choice very tightly. With your other hand, reach down underneath your chair and grab onto your butts and hold them tight. You're gonna need to. Welcome to Doom Hunter Base, or as I like to call it, Build-A-Boss Workshop. It is a joy, nice little treat. Honestly, I really think we should have one of these in the Mall of America right about now. What do you say? That's the first thing you're going to want to learn about this game is it doesn't really take breaks when it comes to the combat. Like it does, which is great. It has these nice little sections where generally you're like platforming in between your battles. But when it comes to the actual battles themselves, don't expect to have a single encounter where you can just kind of go, okay, there's like 5 guys and I'll take care of it. Nope. Started level, guess what? Here is a Mancubus. So basically this level is structured around you trying to hunt down one of the Hell Priests, which means going to this base that's up at the North Pole, I think. Or is it the South Pole? It's on one of the poles. Doesn't matter. There's demons there. You go and kill them. But you are hunting down this Hell Priest, and basically he knows you're coming, which is all the better, because it means he's going to send more demons at you. And more demons at you means you have more demons to kill. But along the pathway, basically he's rambling about this and that. And, oh, I was prepared, and I decided on this ultimate being to kill you. And you start by meeting the guy in a sarcophagus, basically. Not a sarcophagus, a coffin? Is a sarcophagus an actual word for that? I think it is. You first see him in some form of wooden containment device for a body, and then he gets unpacked very nicely, and throughout the level, piece by piece, you see him slowly being built up, and of course you don't take any action to kill him when he's in a weak state, because wouldn't that just spoil it? So you go through the entire level basically building a boss, bit by bit by bit. And this brings us to the first point that I want to make, which is basically just bringing out and pointing out that this game has phenomenal pacing. Like, honestly, we gotta talk about the pacing because, oddly enough, in certain videos, it seems like people don't necessarily like the pacing. I absolutely adore it. I mean, I didn't think I'd ever use the word pacing in a first-person shooter. You know, I figured that's more of a film thing. But it's structured really, really well because, as I have mentioned, the combat is a bit like this. Action-packed, unrelenting, unforgiving. Every single action that you're doing is basically trying to keep yourself alive, either by using the chainsaw in order to get more ammunition so you can continue to output damage so you don't die, or dealing just enough damage so you can get off a glory kill, which will refill your health, at least a portion. And then also they have the addition of the flamethrower, or flame belch, or whatever the heck they call it. Basically, it's a shoulder-mounted flamethrower, and what it does is enemies that are on fire, when they take damage and die, they actually drop you armor. So you are not only just using your chainsaw to give you ammunition, which, by the way, the ammunition is a lot more limited in this game. If you are not keeping track of your ammunition and you are not playing in such a way where you're changing weapons at rapid speeds depending on the enemies you're fighting, you're not going to have enough to get through the enemies. Yeah, so basically, you're dealing with the chainsaw for ammunition, glory kills for health, and then fiery boy for armor. You cannot play this game passively. This makes it so each of the combat phases are incredibly fast-paced, action-packed, unrelenting. You can't look away for a second. So, when that stops, and then they say, hey, can you jump on these 4 things with your really, really cool jumping abilities? I breathe a sigh of relief because there's so much going on at all times that being able to stop for a second and just focus on a single of the many amazing gameplay mechanics of this game is like taking a vacation to Hawaii. There are no worries and you are just fine. And it is lovely, and then as soon as you're done with it and you're like, okay, that was a nice little jumping puzzle. Well, hey, look, here's another Mancubus. And you're back in it. Oh, and you thought I'd forget about secrets. That's wrong. I remembered secrets. Secrets are incredibly important in this game because, for the most part, they will give you bonuses to pretty much everything. Like, you start out as the Doom Slayer, basically where you were at the end of Doom 2016, where, you know, demons better just run, honestly. But by the end of this game, you can't just be the Doom Slayer anymore. You must be the great Lord, our God in hell. The Doom Slayer. So, you're going to need these upgrades. So check for secrets. I found myself in a situation where basically I would be checking as quickly as I go into combats. So every time that I have a seconds or even a possible other route, or I enter a new room, just a quick tab, spin around, untab. And that is how you do it. You just keep track of those. I've heard some people kind of complain about the amount of secrets and whatnot. I didn't have a problem with it at all. I actually really liked it because almost all of them were on the map, or you could see them and then you just have to spend a little time trying to figure out how to get to them. I think it adds to the gameplay by allowing people to take the extra time and basically stretch their skills when it comes to maneuverability in order to get these secrets to then have the bonuses for later. And if you're playing on an easier difficulty and you just want a casual experience, then you don't have to worry about it. If you're playing on a harder difficulty, ultraviolence, then you're probably going to need them by the end of the game, and the middle of the game, and probably the beginning as well. Moving on, after scouring through the entirety of this base with a fine combed tooth? What? After scouring through the base with a fine-toothed comb, you'll find yourself reaching about the end of the level, after collecting a number of key cards and killing a lot of demons. You'll find yourself in a boss arena with the guy who you lovingly helped prepare, and now you get to put him to rest. Basically, this boss has a few stages, which you gotta learn pretty quickly. He starts off with an energy shield around him, which is brutal. Good thing to know about energy shields in this game, if you attack them with energy weapons, they don't just disappear, they explode. So basically anything that brings up an energy shield is just a walking barrel. Oh, side note, you see this guy right here? Yeah, this guy with the cybernetic legs and the big old beer gut and how he's pulling out all of those little shields there. Yeah, he can die. Kill him as quickly as possible. In my mind, he's a bigger threat than a cyber demon. Once you get that shield down, you can unload all your real fancy weapons straight into the guy's body. And he'll take damage pretty well. You'll notice, he's a pretty tough boss. He fires a lot of rockets and he hurts. And yeah, once you get his health down, that's it. Oh, nope, never mind. He has another phase. And now he's wandering around ultra-violent. Luckily, at this point, you don't have to worry about shields, but he will kill you very quickly. So he's got to be careful about that, but as long as he can keep sinking ammo into him and trying to make sure that he can't hit you too much, you should be fine. And there you go. Congratulations. You completed the level. The boss is dead. It was a wonderful... Oh, nope, there's two more.
We are not done yet.
And welcome to Frantic Doom. This is where Doom reaches its peak in my mind. It's hilarious because I'll have these points in the game where basically it'll be regular combat encounters and I will not be able to deal with them that well. Like, I'll take care of it and oftentimes I'll come out on top with a little extra of everything. But pretty much every combat experience you're using ammo and oftentimes you'll get out of one and you won't have the ammo that you needed to kill that one thing really quickly. Because of course, to kill a meatball in the sky, you need a single grenade from a shotgun grenade launcher. And that'll kill him instantly, but otherwise you're gonna have to sink like way more ammunition into it than you really think you should. But then it happens. You hit that one encounter, whether it's in a boss room or whether or not it's one of the rare encounters that you need to find a special key on the map to go into for like a challenge. But you hit this point where you look at the hordes of just real pieces of work in front of you, and you have no idea how you're gonna survive it. But then you remember.
I am the Doomslayer.
You're not stuck in there with them. They're stuck in there with you. And I don't know how exactly I get through them, if I'm gonna be honest, but honestly, oftentimes, once push comes to shove, the game throws everything at you, and there is this almost Dark Souls-esque moment of clarity where it's like, okay, I have to do everything perfectly or I'm going to die instantly. And then you do it. Or you don't, and you try again, but then you do it. Maybe. We'll see. Either way, hitting this point is just the absolute epitome of this game. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring up this specific level. Like, not only is the whole design really creative when it comes to following a single item through the whole thing, it reminds me a lot of Titanfall 2 with that level where it builds like the entire terrain of the final battle, and you're like riding it from place to place to place. Except in this case, it's a boss that you're actually watching be built. And then as soon as you think that you have it done, then there's two more as well as other enemies, and it throws absolutely everything it can at you. So it starts off at a high point and ends on a high point and has just enough points in between to give you just enough time to breathe that I finished this whole thing in one sitting, and I just don't know what to do with my life now. I'm gonna have to replay this game like probably like 8 more times if I'm gonna be honest. And you are done with the mission. Congratulations. You're gonna hop right on back to your ultimate base of awesomeness and metal, which is another way to talk about the pacing. How in between each incredibly fast-paced level, you go back to your little home base. It doesn't have like a lot for upgrades or anything like that, but it has weapons that you're able to unlock, and it gives you tidbits here and there. This is where it keeps all of your bonus stuff and secret stuff that you collect, as well as it has some of its own secrets and its own stuff to collect. Like this base is honestly just awesome. And I love how it just nonchalantly is there. Like first mission, finish it, pop over to here, yeah, it's my base, who cares, don't worry about it. It's very novel-like, if I'm gonna be honest. And not novel as in, like it's novel, I mean like, as in like written novels. The most important thing when it comes to telling a story in a novel is asking yourself, is this the most important part or most interesting part of my character's story, and if it isn't, what is, and why don't you write that? So we could have had a game where they were talking about how we went and got this crazy space station, Fortress of Solitude kind of stuff, But it doesn't really matter, does it? He has it because he's the Doomslayer. So, yeah. On another note when it comes to this game, I gotta bring up something highly, highly important that is the ultimate reason to get this game. Oh yeah. No, honestly though, the collectibles in this game are absolutely phenomenal. But my favorite things to collect are actually the records, because they'll be through a number of different games. You know, they have like Wolfenstein songs and whatnot. But as being someone who's a bit of a snob, well, I don't know if I want to say snob. Yeah, I do want to say snob. Being someone who's a little bit of a snob when it comes to my own record collection in real life, there is sort of this... I just get excited. He like pulls out the vinyl on the side, and then he puts it up in a frame, and a part of me just goes, justice has been served. Along with that, getting the Sentinel power cells can give you bonuses and boosts and upgrade points and all that stuff, but honestly, until you reach about the end, you don't really need too much of that. You can get a lot of it by regular secrets in the game. But picking up the skins, I highly recommend, because it can just kind of customize the experience a little more than I was expecting. Like, I've played through almost the entire game in the Sentinel armor just because, like, through this game really makes you feel like a Titan duking it out. So wearing kind of that medieval death metal kind of armor, you know, like basically no shirt because try me. It was just great. But then also, you know, if you're more of a Doom 2016 fan, you can get the original, you can get the armor from Doom 2016, and if you are an old-time fan, as I mentioned before, you have the original Doom armor. And I'm not going to spoil any story tidbits here and there, even though you've probably all already had it spoiled. But let's just say it's pretty nice that you're able to play through the whole game as that. And let's not even talk about the whole Twitch unicorn thing. Yeah, and I really couldn't think of a good way to end this video, so bye?